everyone, this is Amy. Thanks so much for dropping by my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I paint, and I apologize if I'm saying this incorrectly, but I looked it up on the internet and it said Queen Protea. So I'm going to be painting that design on this glass wine bottle. I'm going to be using two different brushes. They're flat brushes. One is a number 10 and one is a number 12. And then a number 1 liner. These are all one-stroke plaid paint brushes. Paint I'm using is all folk art, combination of enamels and multi-surface, using Perfect Purple, Lavender, Eggplant, Thicket, Fresh Foliage, Burnt Umber, and Wicker White. Alright, let's get started. Now, to me this is a very unique looking flower. I am going to be using the Wicker White and the Lavender for the first section of leaves, or petals I should say, on my flowers. Now, my space on my bottle obviously is smaller than the paper that I do my sample on. I have cleaned the bottle, soap and water, because I reuse these for my videos, so I don't worry about the rubbing alcohol on it because I'm not going to be using it. But for you, if you're doing, not just practicing, but you're actually doing it to be used, make sure you clean it off after you do the soap and water with the rubbing alcohol. Just make sure that you get all the extra, any kind of lint, oils from your fingers or whatnot is removed. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. I am going to begin towards the top, and I've seen a couple different varieties of designs for this type of a flower. I have chosen to use my flat brush on the chisel edge, but sideways and not flat, or not like this, but I'm turning it like this to get my design. And I'm trying to have a pointier leaf, or pointier petal. I'm sorry, I keep saying leaf. Hope you can follow me with me making references to stuff that's not exactly what I'm doing, so I apologize. Alright, so I'm doing a bigger petal, and then I'm going to come through here, do another petal. And you don't want all these petals to be the same height. Now, a couple of them can be very similar, but you kind of want to stagger them a little bit. I hope that makes sense. Like this one's going to be a little higher up here, and I'm going to pull down the side. I can come back here with my brush and pull down some color just to separate it a little bit, maybe, and come back in with some white. The thicker my paint is applied, the more durable my paint will be on this glass. And it doesn't mean that you have to make it really, really thick. It's just that if it's really thin, it will not stand up as well as if you're doing a thicker coat. Unfortunately, it just won't. Alright, so, and as you see, sometimes I've got the white leading, sometimes I've got the actual lavender leading. You can vary this. You don't have to have all of it leading the same way all the time. I like it better staggered. Again, that's just my preference. If you want them all going the same way, you can definitely do that. I'm going to try to get, as many actual blooms on here as I can. Again, with my surface being smaller, that can make it a little challenging. And you can just see, you can kind of draw out the petals if you want to make them more pointier looking. It's up to you. Either way works. Either way is great. I can pull that up like that. I'm just trying to make them a little curvy so they're not all kind of straight before I put my next row on. Okay, and then let's see here. I might want to go over this direction, maybe throw in another one. And I'm also trying not to have them be too far apart and around the bottle. If I were decorating this bottle for my own use or to sell it, then yes, I would definitely have it going all the way around the bottle. But I'm not really too worried about that, so definitely not. And you can even come back over this way if you want and maybe add a smaller little petal this direction if you want, or even something little larger, up to you. But you can see just kind of staggering them is what the intention is. Alright, so let's go ahead and keep going here. The next I'm going to lay in the darker layers, hopefully. I don't want to get them too big, again, because I am doing this on a wine bottle. But these are technically going to be like my front petals. And I'm going to be using the Perfect Purple and the eggplant all in here together. And now I'm just going to put some little rows down here. Again, just kind of staggering and layering. And you can just keep working on the color too if you feel like you need to have more of one of the other colors present and you don't have enough of it. Just go back over it. You can go down one side with the white. Just it's very loose. I guess that's my point. I don't want it to be real stringent. I want it to be more of a loose design. And just kind of random. And I hope you're following this. I hope you like it. It is just kind of a different looking flower, and this is my interpretation. If you have a different interpretation of this flower, that's perfectly fine. If you notice in life, a lot of things can be done differently and still kind of have a similar result, or maybe a unique result. Doesn't have to be the same. And like I said, I'm putting an eggplant in. I'm just kind of rotating the Perfect Purple, rotating the white, rotating directions kind of. And just going with the flow here. Alright, so here we go. The next step that I'm going to do is to come in with my bigger brush, and that would be the number 12. I'm going to go into my greens and into my burnt umber, because what I'm doing now is putting in my stem. Now each one of these has its own stem, and I'm not doing a fancy stem, I'm just doing a straight, because they're what I'm seeing when doing research is they're pretty straight. Kind of hard to see on the surface because the glass is green, but what I'm going to do is just keep working it a little bit to put in some of the green to make it a little lighter, and go down the one side with some of the brown, and then maybe hit this even with some white. You know, if you want to throw some white in there, that can kind of give, doesn't have to be a steady whole stream of white, or it can be, and that just gives it just more, I want to say shadowing because I'm actually using white, but just gives it a little more interest. And you can keep working it. You know, if you don't like how much white there is, then go back over it with some green. Up to you. Just kind of blend it. Just kind of intermix it a little bit. And again, what you're doing here is you're actually making it a little thicker so that it causes it to have more durability because it's thicker when you layer. Okay, it's just very, very simple. Very simple. Now, next thing I want to work on is getting some of these petals, these goodness, I'm sorry, leaves, the leaves, not the petals. Oh, what I am talking about today. Some of the leaves are just kind of rounded, and then you pull them back. Might even be a little funny looking, but I like to kind of play with them a little bit. Put some of the green in. I've got brown in them. Maybe it turns them a little more olive. Who knows? You can, if you want, create it to where, you know, that you have a lighter color on top, and then I'm going to just take a stem and just pull it through. It can be all the way through the leaf, it can be partially, however you want it to be. Okay, and on here I'm going to do one and then have it come up. Again, I'm going to keep the brown on the bottom, and I'm going to throw some of the fresh foliage towards the top, and then just keep it, just kind of pull it in. And just work on the color. Blend it together a little bit. Even throw any of the darker green in there if you want. Like I said, and just kind of blend it a little bit, just get it to where you like it. And then you can put in a branch, or the, not a branch, but a vein. It's hooking it to the branch, like that. And this is probably the longest part, is just putting these leaves in here. Just have them come out. I'm going to keep the dark towards the bottom. If you don't care about the light source or how the light's hitting, I mean, it doesn't matter. You can rotate the colors and not even worry about that. Just worry about the design itself and making it pretty. And then I'll just put another vein through it. So far we have that. And then I can come back here, come and do the same thing over to this one. I can draw it in, kind of like I'm drawing it, or I can do stroke work, but on this project I'm just drawing it in and then painting it. And I like the combination of the three colors. Definitely do that. And you can even pull it in with more of the light color going towards the top. Just pull it through like that. These are just real easy, just real simple. Not meant to be anything really crazy. Definitely not. I'll put the light towards the top again. Through here with the brown. And just keep painting because I do want there to be some difference in color here. Definitely. You get too much paint on your brush, guess what? Just wipe it off. And you can also do leaves that actually come out. And if you want to have a little bit of a stem coming out, you can then do the leaf off of that. It doesn't have to be solely a leaf that's coming right off the stem itself. And come like that. And we'll just keep working it. Like I said, just keep working it till you get it exactly the way you want it. And I gotta wipe some of my paint off and just kind of do some blending here. And I'm doing very, very, very light strokes, not pressing hard at all, because I don't want to pull my paint up. And that's why. And then I can come back in here and do my stem again, and then just pull it down in here a little bit, like that. And it's pretty easy, pretty simple. Do I want another one coming off of here? Probably, but I might make it a little bit smaller. Kind of like my flower petal is in front of it. And do a little bit of this. And sometimes too you can find that your brush gets too muddled with paint, so then it gets too hard to actually do some of this blending and all without it getting too muddled, too muddy looking. So keep that in mind too. Might be a time to switch brushes if that's not working for you. We're getting close to being finished. So just bear with me a smidge longer. Alright, so those are simple. The one last thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to use my liner brush. Oh, you know what, I did forget something. And I probably should use a smaller brush, but I'm not going to, so I apologize if this gets a little big. But these stems have a little, you make them a little sharper too, but they have a little, almost like a rose bush is what it reminds me of. I'm not sure how sticky or pointy they really are, but I did see that. This one's just a little bit shorter because I'm not really showing it down. I just connected it here. But anyhow, you can go ahead and just put a little points coming off of it a little bit. I'm not really that familiar with this flower, so that's why I'm not really sure. But that's pretty simple. Then again, the last thing I'm going to do is just do with my liner brush, and I'm just doing it with the the white, the Wicker White. I'm just doing it because there is a center in the middle of these flowers. It's very, kind of reminds me very ruffly. So I just want to, you can do it without this because I have seen designs recently painted without it. But then I saw this in the actual picture of the flower itself. There is definitely a big center in these flowers, a very prominent center. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to add that to my design. So if you want to leave it, they're just like little C strokes with your little liner brush, and you can make the center show up as much as you want or little, or leave it off totally. But I kind of like it with a little bit of this. If you want to put a contrasting color with it so it shows up better, that's fine. But honestly, I think it kind of shows up well enough just by using the white. I kind of got mixed in there with some other paint, but I'm just doing these little strokes in different directions. I'm putting them on here just to indicate there is a center here. We may not be able to see it very well, but it's here. And we're just going to let it happen. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I was thinking I was done with this and then I was starting to have some issues with my recording, so I'm going to go ahead and put some final, there are little leaves that go on the bottom of this flower. Oh, I have this backwards. Before you finish it up. And you can do it just like with a regular pull down, or you can make them pointy just like we did with the flowers. You can rotate it a little bit if you want, meaning a little bit of green, dark green, light green, reverse it a little bit, up to you. But I'm going to go ahead and basically do them like this, kind of give them a little bit of a layering at the bottom. Again, you can make them pointy, little pointy, up to you. Like I said, then just kind of pull it in there. You want to go back over with some darker paint, you can do that as well. Just kind of like that. Sorry if you can hear my dog barking. She is upstairs, but she has to give her 2 cents every time I am painting. Like I said, you can make just do one little stroke, or you can actually do them where they come down around each other. However you want to do it. And I'm just going to kind of rotate the greens just so that I have some layering here. And just bring it in here where it connects into my stem. Like that. Just very easy. Like again, my paintings are meant to be easy. They are not meant to be difficult. I want people to be creative and not be afraid to create. Because I know a lot of times people are really afraid of that. You know, what if I don't? Who cares? You know, that's my mantra. Who cares? If you like it, that's what's important. If you're happy with it, alright, and there we go. Alright, sorry for the issues with my video. If you like this video, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. And before leaving, please hit the share button that's below the video. Share this on your social network with all of your family and friends. I would really be grateful, and that would help me a lot in growing my channel. Alright, till the next time, stay safe and healthy. Have a good one.